It's exciting when something comes together for the very first time. There's a pioneering spirit in the air, a restless energy to create something absolutely new. This spirit, this energy is all around me in the very first edition of the Van Heusen and GQ Fashion Nights, a platform that showcases and celebrates the best menswear created in India. Attitude towards men's fashion has undergone a huge transformation. This event reflects this bold new thinking that's befitting pioneers, the first men. I'm at the Grand Hyatt Mumbai, where we will meet industry stalwarts, people who have innovated, reached new heights and set trends so compelling that others can't help but follow. Let's dive into all the anticipation that's building up around this magnificent event.
So many women's fashion weeks. It's about time someone like GQ did something like this.
Men's fashion has been a bit of a sideshow in the normal platforms, normal fashion weeks. So we said, if GQ doesn't do it, if we don't give menswear the kind of pedestal that it deserves, then nobody will.
The Van Heusen GQ Fashion Nights will see bringing together a powerful, fashionable menswear brand along with a pioneer in fashion journalism.
We believe this is the right opportunity for Van Heusen to collaborate with GQ because both of us understand fashion, both have been in this industry in various forms, to really come together and collaborate and create a show.
Fashion Nights is going to be one such, event that GQ and Van Heusen is going to really build a great platform to showcase some of the best talent that fashion has in this country.
For men to step up their game, they need to have a really good haircut. And when men follow fashion, women follow men.
Fashion is important. It's an expression of who you are, and nobody does it as well as GQ.
Let's turn to a duo that thrives on chaos, or should I say, controlled chaos. Shantanu and Nikhil burst into the scene with edgy drapes, body-hugging cuts and sporty shoulders for the fit Indian man. Their journey has taken them all over the world. They're as excited by the business of fashion as they are by designs. So let's find out what they make of Van Heusen and GQ Fashion Nights.
When you look at Indian menswear or menswear for that matter, it's always been pretty generic in terms of size and fit. I think it's about time now that more people focus on giving a stronger silhouette, a younger feel and a chic look.
We've always been known to play contemporary, and doing contemporary in an occasion where minimalism becomes the mainstay, I think that's always been our forte.
Fashion Night is for us an opportunity to talk about a concept which is stemming from pre-independence. We're looking at young congressmen and young people who were part of the committee to run the country. And so this one is called The Summit. Finally, India is going to witness some incredible fashion coming out of Van Heusen GQ Fashion Nights, and we've been waiting for it for years. And finally, thank God they're doing it.
I'm looking forward to Shantanu and Nikhil. I'm pretty certain the men who will be walking the ramp tonight will be gorgeous.
Dressing is a celebration by itself, and why should women have all the fun? Both Nikhil and Shantanu bhai, they are maestros of their craft, and yet again they proved it, but it was only expected. But I think today what they did was truly pioneering. I've never been in an atmosphere of this kind at a fashion show, where clothes amalgamated with, with a feeling of just national pride. I had goosebumps when the national anthem came up and the whole audience stood up. And working with Nikhil Bhai and Shantanu Bhai, both, they're family to us, and we're very happy to work with them.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shantanu and Nikhil.
If the crowd goes one way, you can bet that Rajesh Pratap Singh will be forging a path of his own. The veteran designer has reinvented himself for nearly a decade now. What stays constant is his minimalistic and understated design aesthetics with a sharp eye for detailing. You can be sure that his show will be one classy affair.
I think it's the garment construction which really excites me about menswear. We can experiment a lot with textiles, with silhouettes, and that's something which we really like doing. This particular collection which we'll show for Fashion Nights would be some new experiments with wool, some really lightweight wools, some new materials which we can use with wool. It'll be interesting that some of the best brands in the country would show together. It hopefully will give us a timetable for the industry that every season people get to show their menswear at one platform.
On a night like this, a man can loosen the tie and be his flamboyant best. The Van Heusen collection represents the very best, the most refined styles, and it's here on display at the Van Heusen and GQ Fashion Nights.
What we have tonight is a take on how fashion can be contemporary and powerful, with a theme that's taken from the earlier eras of the 1920s to the 1950s. It's an amalgamation of this entire era captured in two different looks.
Kind of mimics the 1920s gangster look. That's the whole mood of the show as well. And who's more stylish than a bunch of Italian gangsters? So it's nice to represent one of them.
Today what we have is a very cool, relaxed, inspired by the lawn parties. It's called the Gatsby Summer. We have like soft pinks, we have whites, we have ecru, we have a little bit of green, and the trend is largely prints and how one combines prints with flatter fabrics.
I think this particular show was great because it really was about going back into a time in the 20s. About almost 100 years back, when people stepped out, they dressed up. That time when people stepped out, they were in suits and they were in bow ties and always looked really stylish. So it's great to go back to a time like that.
We've met the veterans of the fashion industry, and you know what? We're just getting started. When we get back, we'll meet a designer with the royal touch, and we'll see a young designer whose creations are for the chilled out guy. So stay tuned to Van Heusen and GQ Fashion Nights exclusively on CNBC TV 18. Welcome back to Van Heusen and GQ Fashion Nights here on CNBC TV 18. Style is important to a man, but men's fashion in India has been an afterthought. This anomaly ends today with the Van Heusen and GQ Fashion Nights that's all about bringing men's fashion and style into the limelight, giving the hero his true place. The collections of the designer we're going to meet next is for the quintessential Indian man. After all, there's a reason why men like Saif Ali Khan, Rahul Gandhi and Naveen Jindal are fans of his signature bandgalas. I'm talking about none other than Raghavendra Rathore, a designer who was part of the very first group that led the renaissance of the Indian fashion industry.
Men's wear in India is going through this amazing change where people want something which is very special, that it's custom made for you. This whole bespoke direction is really exciting, and I think that's very different from what was happening earlier. And I think people have realized that you want your personality to be suited with your style. GQ Fashion Night is a great platform for the Indian women's diaspora. I think you have the best brands showcasing their products. It's also very rare to see a focus on menswear. Imperial India Company, the brand that we will be showcasing, is a fresh reflection of how this country was in the British times. So I think a lot of influences from the British Raj. And styling which will give you an entire sample of an entire collection. I think it'll be, every outfit will represent a genre.
I'm here for Raghu's show, and I understand that his new company, Imperial India Company, is the start of his Pret line. In fact, I'm wearing him today as well. And Raghavendra Rathore stands for certain kind of cuts, certain kind of a certain kind of style.
His clothes are very interesting because he's making them more accessible to a wider range of people.
If Raghavendra Rathore was a designer who took India to the world, our next young Turk is a guy who brings the world to India. Whether it is on the internet or by attending trade shows from around the world, Dhruv Kapoor is inspired by the latest in technology. He is unafraid of experimenting with it in India. He's a guy who hates to play it safe and loves pushing creative boundaries.
The inspiration comes from very different kind of sources. It's the people that I meet, the varied levels of intellect. So we normally try to build a character in the men that we are trying to dress. So in the end, it's a very soft man that we target, but obviously we retain power in whatever we do. I love to focus on outerwear because that's what is going to complete the look in the end. We are going with a very oversized, rounded shoulder bomber. So it's really, really big, plus our shorts have become really short. So we have a very large shoulder volume that we are focusing on and a very narrow lower. Van Heusen GQ Fashion Nights is a big platform that has been given to us to actually showcase menswear. And I think it is the most accurate thing to do at this point of time because there's a big void in terms of menswear in our country. And with both Van Heusen and GQ together, being pioneers in their own field, I think it is very, very appropriate to have something like this. And it's also of a large value to us to actually showcase our designs.
Ujjwal Dubey spent 6 years working with Shantanu and Nikhil. Today, he has his own label, Antar Agni. But for a designer, Ujjwal surprisingly says that fashion is really not his thing. It is this rebellious streak that the Van Heusen and GQ Fashion Night celebrates, which he really enjoys.
I think there's a big gap between the casual wear and the ceremonial, and I'm just trying to fill it, which is, either a man has a shirt and pant or a t-shirt and denim, and there's another ceremonial attire. So there's nothing in the middle of it. Try to make every day stylish rather than waiting for the occasions.
Van Heusen GQ Fashion Nights, it's very special for me because as a brand I'm very new and it means a lot as a platform.
We bring to the table some exciting silhouettes and some exciting cuts, which normally drapes and cuts are mostly seen for women, but I'm just trying to push it towards the men's side and make it more wearable.
I had the opportunity of wearing clothes by my friend Ujjwal here from Antar Agni, and I've fallen in love with the kind of way his clothes make me feel. And it kind of makes me feel a little more regal, and with the beard and the hair, I feel it fits well. The choice of material is extraordinary. and it makes me feel that I need to look a little more stylish.
Loved it completely, felt like a rock star. It's Sufi and it mixes with being a little sporty, and it's very unique in a way. It's very 2016 in fact. So I guess this works for me, and love Antaragni.
I feel awesome, there's no doubt, obviously, and we tried to make it more dynamic this time, more younger, and that's why Ayushmann, he filled in, I think, very well, beautifully. I loved it.
The classic, the modern, the royal, the bold. No matter what your style, there's something for everyone here at the Van Heusen and GQ Fashion Nights. When we get back, we'll meet a duo who believe that clothes have the power to change people's lives. And we trace the rise of a designer who counts national leaders and industry moguls amongst his clients. So stay tuned as the Style Parade continues at the Van Heusen and GQ Fashion Nights exclusively on CNBC TV 18. Following trends is often a safe road to take, but to achieve lasting success, to leave a mark, you have to build your own road. There are many people who will agree with this philosophy here at Van Heusen and GQ Fashion Nights.
Fashion and technology, according to us, go hand in hand. The OnePlus X, our newest phone, is a testament to that.
Design is now important, whether it's electronics, whether it's computers, laptops, products, and why not clothes for the Indian men. Harman Kardon is targeted to the luxury male. And for the first time we have an event that we can associate with in India, as you rightly put it, speaking to this audience.
Dressing is important for every man, but when you head a major conglomerate or are a Bollywood superstar or the Prime Minister of a country, what you wear sets the tone for everything you do. So what does that mean for the designer who dresses these powerful men? Let's ask Troy Costa.
For us, everything is about tailoring. Every garment needs to be superly fitted and tailored of the highest quality. I think that's something not everybody in this country emphasizes on.
The show is called Bonsoir, Monsieur, which is Good Evening, Gentlemen. It's a show on eternal love and love that is timeless. It's also a show dedicated to Paris. I've used both these mediums to create a collection filled with evening wear clothes, from suits to tuxedos to smoking jackets, very, very formal, gentleman-like.
GQ is a great platform, and I think it's a great idea. We don't have a menswear platform in this country, and the fact that GQ is doing something like this in association with Van Heusen, I think, is amazing because it just allows us to exhibit or say what we do in a better way through our clothes, right?
I think it's a good shocker, to have a men's show and then have a girl open it. I think that I was sold at the idea immediately, and it was fun.
Men are realizing this importance of fashion now in India as well, and I think a very stylish designer like Troy really makes menswear really stylish. I've worn his clothes to Toronto Film Festival, to London Film Festival, all over the world, and I've got heaps of compliments for it, and I really congratulate him because his cuts, his fits, and his material that he uses is absolutely international, fabulous.
Our next designers know the importance of blazing your own trail. When India was filled with ethnic designs in the 90s, Rohit and Rahul brought contemporary Western sensibilities to the market. 18 years on, the duo continue to break new ground while remaining true to their ethos.
USP is we are contemporary, we are modern.
We've always concentrated towards menswear and it's been something we love doing.
collection is also timeless. It's also very, very contemporary and timeless. It's a lot of winter colors which we have. We have a lot of greys. We have, in fact, we're going to be playing with color.
People can identify themselves in the clothes, and I think something which can just come from the ramp to rack straight away, and you don't have to mold anything. So that's what Rohit Rahul is all about.
A very, very wearable, fashionable collection. We're really excited to show a great collection, and you know, I think it's also great for men's fashion to get that platform, which it really deserves. It will be just fun seeing great looking men and everyone walk the ramp.
It's going to be a rocking night. We're looking forward to our show and our superstar, rockstar showstopper, so we're looking forward to see that.
Rohit and Rahul are and have always been my favorite boys, and it's always a pleasure to be walking for them. I also love that little touch with the backpacks and the bag on the hand. Fabulous stuff. I hope to you know, be the inspiration for Indian men to kind of break the mold and you know, declutter and do something out of the box and different once in a while.
Doing something for the first time is filled with risks, but such endeavors are also bursting with possibilities. The first edition of the Van Heusen and GQ Fashion Nights was a gathering of designers, industry leaders and patrons who believe in this philosophy. It celebrated the very best of menswear in India and will act as a catalyst to an industry that has come into its own. So here's raising a toast from all of us at the Van Heusen and GQ Fashion Nights to a well-dressed Indian man. This is me, Yudhisthar, saying, let's get ready to boldly go where no man has gone before.